Hey guys, welcome back to the channel where I cover missing persons, unsolved cases, crime news, and more. I don't know if some of y'all have heard, I sort of slipped through my news radar during the whole Sarah Boone thing, so this really pisses me off, okay? The three men who were convicted of murder, okay, in the murder of Ahmaud Arbery in February of 2020, now they want a new trial. They say that there was issues with the trial and there's a lot to it, and they believe that there was a juror who, the one single black juror, they're blaming him for being biased. It is insane.
Three Georgia men convicted of chasing down and killing Ahmaud Arbery in 2020 are back in court today asking a judge for a new trial. Attorneys for Greg McMichael, his son Travis McMichael, and their former neighbor William Bryan are making a range of accusations, including that the jury was tainted, that their counsel was ineffective for one of the men. The McMichaels armed themselves and then chased Arbery down in a pickup truck after they saw him jogging past their house in February 2020. Bryan then joined in that pursuit in his own truck and then recorded cell phone video of Arbery getting killed by shotgun blasts at close range. ABC News legal contributor Brian Buckmire joins me now for more on this. Brian, walk us through these arguments. Why are these men arguing that they deserve a new trial?
Well, Dan, you listened to the arguments already. One there is saying that the jury was tainted. One of the defense attorneys for one of the McMichaels said that after interviewing at least three of the jurors, there's information, they haven't revealed what it is as yet, that makes them believe that there was extraneous or external information that these jurors heard that might have biased their decision. They also have ineffective assistance of counsel, but that's specific to William Bryan, where they're saying that the previous attorney, the trial attorney, made the incorrect assessment of telling Bryan to go speak to law enforcement, and that some of his words were incriminating. The last one is what we call judicial error. What they're saying is that the judge made the mistake of not allowing the defense attorneys to argue Ahmaud Arbery's previous criminal history, namely that he was arrested twice and his mental health, to suggest that the men were fearful of their life and therefore should have been able to use self-defense as an argument.
Those of you that have seen the video and seen the other body cams, highly disturbing the entire situation is. These men, these three men, hunted down Ahmaud. They hunted him down like an animal, and they killed him. He was not a threat to them or anyone else. He was allegedly trespassing or walking through a home under construction, and they said they saw him multiple times there. This is what the three men claim, and that they were chasing him because they wanted to call the law enforcement and get him arrested. You don't chase down a black man, okay, or anyone, but these are three white men. In my opinion, they are racist, okay? Three white men chasing down a black man in their trucks with guns. This was a hate crime to the extreme. We hear about stuff that people like to throw that out there, that it's a hate crime, it's racist, but you know what? The Ahmaud Arbery murder was a racist. It was a hate crime, period. These three men were hateful and are hateful individuals. They hunted him down like he was a dog. Ahmaud was a human being like everyone else. He did not deserve the treatment and the way he died. And that, if that wasn't disturbing alone, the video that the third man took, okay, their neighbor, of the father and son, there was the body cams of him laying in the middle of the street. No one did a damn thing to help him. They didn't cover him up. I mean, the whole entire situation made me sick.
How common is it for a judge to grant a new trial based on the circumstances in this case and the arguments that the defendants are making?
So these arguments, tainted jury, judicial error, ineffective assistance of counsel, are probably the more common arguments that one makes to reverse a case. And I think it's very often that if a case is reversed, it's probably one of these three, especially judicial error. However, there's some weaknesses to some of the arguments that the defense attorneys are making. Namely, for example, that judicial error not having Ahmaud Arbery's background being used. Well, the men who were convicted of the crime, they didn't know about Ahmaud Arbery's background, the arrest or his mental health. So how are they able to say that they were fearful of this information that they didn't have? So I don't see that being a very strong argument. Even the ineffective assistance of counsel. While I agree, Brian should never have spoken to law enforcement, I tell it to all my clients, plead the fifth, ask for an attorney. There was so much other information that they could have convicted Brian on that I don't think that's going to be the winning argument, especially when ineffective assistance of counsel, you have to prove that what the attorney did wrong was the basis for why the case went the wrong way.
So what happens next in these proceedings?
So the judge is allotted for 2 days for both sides to make their arguments. They're going to argue much of what I just said now, why information should have come in, why it should not have come in, why the judge made a mistake, why the information the jury had may or may not have tainted the ultimate result in this case. And then the judge will take the information in some weeks or months. I know that we kind of have the holidays coming up. Judges typically take their time around this time of year, but they'll ultimately get a decision as to whether or not there should be a new trial. If there is, there will be a new case. If not, then these three men will stay behind bars for the rest of their sentence.
All right, ABC News legal contributor Brian Buckmire. Thanks, Brian.
This just sickens me that these men have the gall. The gall! Of course, their actions, I guess it shouldn't surprise me that they would do this crap. But they just went to be heard, I believe it was last week, to if there was going to be another trial. Like the legal expert stated, we may not know. Maybe we'll find out by the end of the year. Again, it all depends upon how much time the judge takes. I hope that he throws it out. I really do. It's a grave injustice to say that this conviction was gotten illegally or had some issues, but also what a slap in the face to his family and to the memory of Ahmaud. It is disgusting, and this just makes me sick. It really, really does. Our justice system is really a good one when it works the way it should. So I am hoping and praying that this judge denies these three awful men's request for a new trial, because his past history, Ahmaud's past history, had nothing to do with what happened that day. These men, again, they chased him down and they murdered him in cold blood. There's nothing else to it. They decided he was a man of color, okay? And they didn't like him. To me, that's the bottom line. It's not as though they held him for the cops to come. They didn't call the police. And then when the cops came, a lot of them, in my opinion, they could not care less about Ahmaud. And that is additionally a big problem. And I feel for his family having to have this come back up. It shouldn't happen. Unfortunately, these kind of things do happen. These criminals, these murderers, decide to continue to cause major hurt emotionally to these families, and it's horrific. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. This one always has really, really disturbed me, and I will definitely keep you guys apprised about what happens, whatever the judge says. All right, I hope you have a great rest of the day, and most of all, stay safe.